Hey, welcome everybody to our Today in Prophecy daily news in 15 minutes or less. And listen, I am from North Carolina. I'll be back in studio on Tuesday. But right now, I look at this and think, man, what incredible days that we live. Oh, I want to mention this first before I forget. Today at 2 o'clock Pacific time will be an interview I was just on with Jan Markell. So make sure that you watch that. 2 o'clock Pacific time. Okay, let's get going with this. So we think of wars or rumors of wars. Check this out. Poland is preparing for a possible war with Russia. We see all these different things escalating. And we know, listen, we know what the words of Jesus were. There will be wars and rumors of wars. And we see things escalating. They're going to escalate like they do a birth pains upon a pregnant woman, for example. So we see this as every day we wake up into the news and these things keep happening. But when we look at the Mideast, a different dynamic is also taking place. As of right now, the whole war over in Israel has not yet blown up like everybody's been expecting it to. The threats from the 9th of Av came and went. We know that. We've been talking about that. Iran has a lot of internal problems. Iran also has problems now with their proxies, their assets, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. They have doubts about what Iran's going to do, but Israel sent a very clear message when they took out the second in command in Hezbollah and also took out the leader in Hamas in Tehran in that incredibly secure compound. Israel sent a message: we can get you anywhere and we get anybody we want. And Ayatollah says, hey, we're going to go after Israel. Well, now you're looking going, what's really going to happen there? And at the same time, with that, check this out: United States, Egypt, and Qatar, they are all now in talks to see if they can get everything to de-escalate in Israel. They're even saying, hey, maybe we can get the hostages to come back. So you're looking at all these different dynamics that are taking place. What's really going to go on in Israel? We're supposed to be over in Israel doing some filming there. It come early October, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm looking at this. Everything's on edge. Is everything now de-escalating in Israel? Is there going to be a fake peace? By the way, the noise that you hear is the cicadas that are out here in North Carolina. If they come out every day, I'm not used to them from where I come from, but it's pretty cool down here being here. By the way, we're here in North Carolina for a prophecy conference in Swansboro, North Carolina. It's just been a great time. Piney Grove Baptist Church with Pastor Alex and Ken. Ken Michael was out here from Jan Markell's ministry. We had a great time. Shout out to everybody there that was at the conference. We had a great time with you all. But again, as we look at this going on with Israel, we were talking about this at the conference. One dynamic is before Ezekiel 38 comes about, there must be some type of time where Israel is going to be lulled into a place believing they have peace and security, peace like a tranquil state. They're not there now. They're on edge. The Ezekiel 38 battle takes place. It's a surprise attack that comes on Israel. Israel definitely not in that place yet. So is this all part of it? Seeing the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar now involved. Also, Jordanian airspace has opened up. So you look at that to Israel. So you're looking at this going, well, if Jordan opened up their airspace, what is really going on with these other countries? Again, you start thinking about this going, very interesting things. Again, I'll go back to this. Israel sent some very clear messages. All the anti-Semitism that's out there, taking out these two leaders of Hamas and Hezbollah, and they sent a very clear message. And although the world and the U.S. is pushing back against Israel for doing that, you look now, you go, okay, what was really going on? But ultimately, there is going to be a fake peace, some kind of peace that's going to lull Israel into a place of saying, okay, we're in a place of peace and security now. Maybe this will lead up to that. I don't know. Maybe the war will break out by sometime this week. We don't know. But we'll wait and see what happens there. And then again, Jordan opens up airspace to Israeli aircraft. Okay, now here's something else that is some more breaking news along with Poland and Russia. And then this going on with Israel and the surrounding nations. World Health Organization, listen, been talking about this for a few weeks, and they did it. World Health Organization warns that the new mutant strain of monkeypox is an emergency, get this, for the entire globe. I mean, you hear this, they just keep up the fear mongering. And then World Health Organization, also check out this article, issues dire warning for Europe after first monkeypox case detected in Sweden. I'm telling you, is it more of just the fear mongering? Yeah, it is. Remember this in Proverbs chapter 29, Solomon said that the fear of man is a snare. The fear of man is a trap. Now, here's what I look at with monkeypox and the other things they're talking about coming out with now. You look at this and go, okay, in order for this to work, they're saying it has a 10% fatality rate for anybody who gets it, by the way. So in order for this to work, in order for people to believe it, do they have to have a much more significant death toll than they ever did with COVID? Because COVID had just never really mounted up to everything that they said. I'm thinking I'm looking at this. They're sounding the alarm and everything. You got digital tracking coming over in Australia. We have everything going on in the UK, and we'll get to UK in just a second because, man, there's big news around the world. It's like the whole world is in this radical shakeup to shift us and get everybody on board for their global government that they want. And fear is a big tool. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on with the World Health Organization. We're hearing about it. I did see more and more people wearing masks as we were traveling through the airports. But man, this isn't the end of it, folks. We're going to be hearing more of this. So all of these things are escalating, while at the same time, it looks like the powers that be are going to try to get Israel to say, hey, let's get back off. Okay, get this. Massachusetts, you ready for this? Passes radical pro-LGBT equality bill seeking to completely redefine the family. Redefine the family. And you read it. You've got to read it. And check out the information in there. And you're thinking, this is the world that we live in. If you put it into the context of the Bible, 1 Timothy chapter 4, what do you have in the last days? What's going to happen? The latter times, people's leaders, they will be giving heed to doctrines of demons and deceiving spirits, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding that you can marry, that you should marry. So you look at this and you go, this is bizarre. And this is about family, pro-LGBT equality, seeking to completely redefine family, folks. So when you start looking at this in the light of that, and other things like in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3, commanding that you abstain from meats. You can't eat meat anymore. And we hear about eating bugs and all this stuff. It's just unbelievable. But when we look at the family aspect, and I've been talking about this for quite a while, as we've been seeing the pressure to not eat meat anymore. I've been saying it's eventually it's going to come down to, hey, forbidding to marry. Eventually the Bible will be fulfilled. And here it is in Massachusetts, redefining the family. And it's just bizarre how the whole thing works out. All right, anti-Israel. Let's move on from there. A couple more things going on. Anti-Israel protests set to reignite on U.S. and Canadian college campuses as YDSA plans student strike. You look at this one and you start thinking the students are returning to the schools. So what are they saying? Get ready for the pro-Palestinian protests. It's the Young Democratic Socialists of America against Israel. And they're saying, we're not going to go to school. We're going to protest. We're going to make sure that these schools boycott Israel. Again, it's the Young Democratic Socialists of America. They're going to try to force schools to boycott Israel. And you wonder if they're going to be able to pull it off. They're just loud. They're obnoxious. They're rude. They're mean. They're haters. They refuse to look at the truth. You look at what's going on over in the UK, folks. You've got to look at what's taking place in the UK. Attack on free speech. UK government is turning big tech companies into online police. So you look at that and then what's going on in college campuses here, and they're going to continue in college campuses, turn big tech companies on people, be the police. We've already seen that the last 5 years. But you look at what's coming in the UK, what's happening, you have a huge Muslim uprising that is causing anybody who stands against it and says, hey, there's a problem with immigration. You start talking about the Bible, you start talking about the things that we talk about. Guess what? They want to come after you for posting things that are against what the government is doing. This is China, except this is in the UK, and they're actually monitoring online speech. And you look at this and you think you big tech companies are going to suffer penalties if they don't control what they call hate speech. So what's hate speech? Well, you start sticking up for Israel. That's going to be hate speech, folks. So you look at these different dynamics that are taking place and you go, this is unbelievable that we are living in a time like this right now, where Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20, right is wrong and wrong is right. Yet these things are happening. But I have some good news. Check this out. Baltimore Orioles, you ready for this? Got to close on some good news today while we can. Baltimore Oriole players share love for Christ during first ever faith night. I think that is so cool when I look at that. They're praising the Lord with Baltimore Orioles. Maybe that would happen more and more in professional sports. I've seen it more and more. We saw at the end of the Olympics, as woke as the Olympics was, what happened? All of a sudden, Christ started being praised through so many of the different people that were winning medals. So I think, man, that is so cool to see that God will be glorified. So as we see all of the different news that's taking place, we must keep our eyes fixed on Jesus Christ, the author and finisher of our faith. Everything is converging and emerging at the same time, going the direction that the Bible tells it's going to go. So we don't want to lose heart. We don't want to be weakened in our faith, but be strengthened in our faith, because Jesus himself said in Matthew 24, see, I have told you these things beforehand. Hey, thanks for joining me here in North Carolina. And thanks for everybody at the conference in Swampboro, Pastor Alex. And what a great time, Piney Grove Baptist Church. And listen, I plan to be back in studio Tuesday this week. And join me today with Jan Markell, 2 o'clock Pacific time. God bless you guys. News in 15 minutes or less today in Prophecy.